This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, it's another great day of publishing at AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. And with me is two amazing women who have really been at the very ground floor of developing products and the behind the scenes of IngramSpark. Robin Cutler has been with me many times on AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. And we've really talked about what IngramSpark and why you should be using it as a primary platform, and we'll kiss that again, especially for bookstores, the independent bookstore market, because they're so expansive of what they're doing globally, which is what you want to pay attention to. And then secondly, with me, and I should say also, Robin is the visionary, the manager of IngramSpark, and with us also is, or I should say the director, excuse me. And then Kristen Eastman is the marketing manager for IngramSpark, and they acquired a company called AuthorU a year ago, and Robin revealed it on a show that we did that it was coming. And I always wanted to wait because when companies come together, sometimes they need to do a happy dance before all the bugs get out in that. And so we're past the bug time. We've been debugged. And I've had a couple of clients who have jumped on the AuthorU bandwagon and using it. And I really wanted to do a deep dive into it because with some of the changes that have happened with Amazon over the last couple of months, it has really been a bang for, and I'm not talking an explosive celebration bang, I'm talking about in the toilet bang for a lot of indie authors, the way they are positioning their books when they've had literally offset print runs. And they're not positioned as first to order from the publisher. They go to all these third parties and you're wondering, what the heck? My books are not selling yet. They're selling this stuff and I am not getting any money for it. So this is a great solution. And so we're going to just jump into that and do a revelation. So welcome, Robin and Kristen. And I think we have a lot to talk about this hour.
Well, good morning, Judith. This is Robin, and it's always fantastic to be with you and to reach the AuthorU community through you and all that you bring to bear to indie publishing. You're always on the front end of any kind of innovation and knowing about it and talking about it, to indie authors, and we so appreciate all the work that you do.
Well, I'm trying, Robin. I'm trying. It's like I'm running.
Sometimes.
I'm running as fast as I can sometimes. I have to tell you, I did a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and that we had over 450 people on it. So, we're working
fantastic.
on it. Yeah, that was great.
Well, I know you're really fantastic about what you share. You always have, just as I feel like we do at IngramSpark, you always have the indie author's best interest at heart. And being an author yourself, you've lived through a lot of the same things that they're going through. So that's what makes you such a valuable resource to them. So I always want to have a good shout out for all that you do, Judith, and
thank you.
Say, just out loud, how much we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. So, we're just doing the final runs and getting everything out for the AuthorU extravaganza. So I should mention to all of you who are listening in that that's going to be September 7th to 9th this year. here in Denver, Colorado, and we have a lot of amazing new programs we're going to be offering, which I'm excited about. So it's nice to have that. All right, so let's just kind of jump into it. I'm a fan of IngramSpark, and one of the teases I was going into was that if you really are going to be working with and really pitching for, and if you're thinking about doing your book in the print-on-demand POD model, you start with IngramSpark. Please do not go to CreateSpace, not yet. And there are reasons to do that. And when I don't know if Kristen's going to jump on and talk about what's going on globally, or Robin's going to take it, but I think that with the expansion aggressively into Europe and Australia for your markets, if this is where your market is, and you want individuals to be able to order a book through a bookstore, you have got to be using, in my opinion, IngramSpark. So Robin or Kristen, do you want to jump on that?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in. I'll just stay on with you here for a little bit, Judith, and then we'll let Kristen kind of talk about Aereo.
Great.
But yeah, you're exactly right. One of the big benefits of IngramSpark is that, it gives the author a lot of control that they don't have in other platforms. And for instance, the author totally controls the pricing of their book, the discounts they want to offer, to booksellers, to libraries, and also whether or not their book is returnable. And, this is really important. If you feel like your book has a bookstore market. Some books don't. Some books, primarily are sold online, but there's a fair number, and more we're finding that authors, one of their goals is actually to see their book in their local bookstore and actually sell it, into their local communities. And their local bookstore, if they're lucky to have one, like you do in Denver, Tattered Cover's one of the best bookstores in the world. And, one of the things that authors, in your area would love to see their book into the Tattered Cover. And if your book is available through IngramSpark, these independent bookstores are able to order it. And the same goes for Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble, would prefer to place an order, through the Ingram catalog. And if your book is listed in IngramSpark, then it's going to be listed in that Ingram catalog just like, a Random House book is. And there's nothing that distinguishes your book, from a traditional publisher in the catalog. So it just kind of sets you up for the base, for the very base that you need to be successful in marketing your book, especially to traditional, publishing outlets like bookstores.
Right, and then let me just reemphasize here for everyone here that Ingram is a trusted name of bookstores. It's trusted. And that's why I'm telling people, bookstores don't love Amazon, dear listener. They don't love Amazon, but they love Ingram. So that's why I want you to start there. And then the other side is, Robin, if you'll kiss on the global distribution side, because they need to start with you on that. If they start on Amazon, it screws it up on your side.
Yeah, so, and you're so knowledgeable about how all of this works together, Judith, and I really appreciate this. So, so if you list your book, and I used to work at CreateSpace, so I understand, how all of this kind of fits together. I have nothing bad to say about CreateSpace, but I will say that in terms of how your book gets listed in the Ingram catalog, if you list it with CreateSpace and you turn on their expanded distribution, it actually will put your book into the Ingram catalog, which sounds like a good thing, but it will have it attached to CreateSpace, and that's something that doesn't really benefit you as an indie author trying to sell to independent bookstores. So that's just following up with what Judith was talking about. That's why that's not a good thing. When you list your book in IngramSpark, you can list it under your own publisher name, however you want your name and your imprint to be listed, and the book goes out into our catalog listed how you prefer it. So that's number one. To go on to the global piece, so Ingram is a global company. We have bookstores. They actually call them bookshops in the UK. We call them bookstores here in the US. But we have bookshops in the UK and around the world who order from Ingram. And more, especially in the UK market and in the European market, this is starting to become a real value to our indie authors. Because now, you can promote your book in the UK. And I know that you did this, Judith, with one of your customers where they needed some UK distribution, and we were able to just kind of quickly turn that book on so it was available in the UK market. And you do that very easily by just setting a price in pound sterling. If you want to make it available in the UK, you can set up your euro price. You can set up an Australian price, a Canadian price, and you control all of that yourself. And all you do to make that book available in these other markets is just list the price. So it's really kind of easy.
One of the challenges, Robin, is though, I mean, we've got about a minute here for we take our first break. But one of the challenges is that most authors are clueless on what to price it in Australia and England and all that. So how do we get help there?
Well, we are working, and, one of the things we're always working on is just making our site more intuitive. We have gone from, launching IngramSpark 4 years ago. We progressively are trying to make the site more intuitive and helpful, right there on these pages where, providing information where our customers need it. So that's one of the areas that we're working on right now, where if you fill in, a U.S. price, we will automatically provide the converted price for you. You can take a look. You can either adjust that. That's coming down the pike, I would say, in a few months. We're working on that right now. So
that would be very cool. That would be that's so cool, because we need that.
Who knows what the sterling pound price is compared to the U.S. price?
We don't. Okay, so hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. It's AuthorU-Your Guide to Book Publishing. With me are the pros from IngramSpark and Ario, and we are going to soar.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you or another? AuthorU will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join AuthorU today through its website at AuthorU.org. Follow AuthorU on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. AuthorU, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so global distribution is what we're talking about for your book. Global. So if you want to sell books outside of the U.S., you've got to have the right vehicle and portal to be able to do it. So what Robin Cutler, the director of IngramSpark, was talking about is how Ingram brings that to you. And one of the questions I had was, well, how do we figure out what to sell our book in England for? or the Aussies, I mean, I can put it on the Barbie, but how am I going to do this, Robin? So you want to add on to that, and then we'll jump on to another area.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit about Amazon, and one of the, things that, although I recommend that people actually go into a bookstore and think about, where your book would, what shelf it would fit in, what section of the bookstore. You can do this with libraries as well, but bookstores are better because you can look and see, okay, well, my book would be on this fiction shelf probably, in historical fiction section, and you can look to see what the books on that shelf are priced at. You can do this very easily with Amazon as well. Just search for books that are similar to what your book would be. And just look, for the number of pages, something that's comparable to your size book, and just really do that research. It's really important to know, what your competitors, authors are doing, how they're pricing, especially against traditionally published books.
Well, I think that's imperative. That's one of my exercises. That was the exercise, Robin, that I do at the first week of my online course and in-person course I do on how to write a book in 4 weeks. Is part of their homework is they have to get their tushes to their local in person. We go in person because they have a homework assignment to deal with covers and interiors and things like that, and they have to take pictures and they have to bring them back the second week because that starts.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of the things I make them all do. I do that with all my clients, to sit down, because you've got to look at what, number one, your genre comparison of what's going on, what the big boys are doing, what you love, what you don't like. And then I tell them, you get your fannies back to where your book would be sold. And if you're not sure, ask. And if they had it. And that one of the things we found with one of my clients, they had absolutely no books dealing in her topic. It wasn't that it was an important topic. It was critical, but it was all on the academic and technical side instead of on the consumer, entrepreneurial, business owner side. So I love finding those little pockets that will be, because it helps in the promotion, number one, but also number two is then we looked at all the bestseller books in the business arena for her. And we just said, okay, I just said, just tell me what pops out at you, not what's cutesy, what pops, what holds out, and doing all those things. And that, and then we're going to go and design it. And we were, with that exercises, we came up with a killer cover. But those are things you got to do. You need, and by the way, when you go into a bookstore, you buy a book. You're just not going to go in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want a bookstore, and I say this as well as you, Judith, but yeah, if you want a bookstore to be, a purchaser of your content, you also need to be a customer of the store. You need to have already, had a relationship with that bookseller as much as possible, especially your local bookseller, and realize that you're all part of the same community. You're all part of the same publishing community, and definitely can help each other, with what you're trying to do in terms of getting your book out into the market. But a bookstore and even a librarian, especially a librarian for children's books, are essential to get a librarian's perspective on what you're trying to do with bringing your book to market in relation to the content of a children's book.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, you and I sing the same song there, and I think it's really important to do that. And also, let me just do a love note with Barnes & Noble, because I do want to support Barnes & Noble, and you need to get to know the CRM, which stands for the Community Relation Manager. They are the key player in a Barnes & Noble store who can bring you in. I mean, what we can do, we'll do a whole nother show on how do you do a really effective signing event. Because, Robin, what you didn't know is on my Publishing at Sea, which is what we did the webinar for, the Publishing at Sea event I do every January on Royal Caribbean, we did actually a book signing in the main promenade, the first time they'd ever done it.
Oh, wow.
I coerced them into doing it, but we did it. And we sold 180 books in 45 minutes.
That's fantastic.
You're talking about a captive audience. It was cool. And the children's books were the ones that flew off the handle. And I knew they would, because grandparents are looking at stuff besides junk to take for the kids. And so we did that. But I gave them a little workshop on how you do a signing event. And I said, if I see any of you sitting, because they're going to have chairs and tables, if I see any of you sitting at a chair, I will come over and bop you. You are not going to do it this way.
I've seen her do that in person, so I know she does that. She does wake up the crowd in really innovative sort of ways.
Yeah, but this is the way you sell. You greet people, and everybody sold books. Everybody sold books. Some of our authors sold out. They even announced that the celebrity authors are on board. Is that not cool?
I love that. That's fantastic. Yes.
It was great. So let me just say one other thing. I mean, a little promo here for Ingram. That when they say, well, you need a distributor, and you can say, well, I do have a distributor. I have Ingram. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
It elevates you among indie authors to be able to say that to bookstores. It solves a problem for them. And it also solves a problem for you because Ingram is, as you say, this powerhouse and is trusted. If you sell books directly to bookstores, which, some authors do this and some stores do this, you as the author also have to collect that money from the bookstore. And sometimes that can be awkward. And with working with Ingram, all that transaction stuff just kind of automatically happens in a nice sort of way. So
and it does make it easier. And then the other side, I will tell you, I'm a huge believer in indie. I've always been a big believer in indie bookstores, and I carry on my own website the IndieBound logo and encourage people to go to independent bookstores. Now, independent bookstores often don't have the drawbacks of you have to have this distributor and this official distributor and all that that Barnes & Noble will insist on versus ordering it directly from you. And that an IndieBound can go into the Ingram catalog to see, it's here, and they can order it that way. But what I love about IndieBound is that I encourage people to, I don't want to really sell, and then we're going to switch over and talk about why you sell on your website, but I have not done that really aggressively. You can go to PayPal with that, but I prefer people to go to bookstores and that they can literally put in their zip code. I mean, I described that I support independent bookstores. And wherever you live in the United States, just put in your zip code, and you will get within seconds a list of bookstores within 50 miles that can then order the book for you. And I just think that's cool.
it is fantastic, and I'm so glad you mentioned IndieBound. And I encourage, all indie authors to list, as you say, list it as an option for purchase. You should always do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do it. It's on my website. All right, so we have a couple of minutes before we have next break, but I need to introduce Miss Kristen, and let's start opening the window here for this really new way. Now that we've talked about ordering through bookstores and stuff, how about creating your own bookstore on your website that you control, but you've got this nifty portal that now IngramSpark has available to you. So, Kristen, how about just giving us an open segue? We've got about 2 minutes before the break that you can let us know what we're going to hear about.
Sure. As Judith said earlier, I'm the marketing manager for IngramSpark and AuthorU, so I have my hands full.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've been with AuthorU for about a year now, and we've really made some awesome progress in the last year. And we've made a lot of changes within, the user interface, and we've actually been working on a lot of things on the back end. So, and that means with AuthorU, officially, we are an independent retail network for all kinds of book lovers that want to market and sell directly to consumers, whether that's through your website, whether that's through our portal, the network, or whether that's, through social media and other uses. We have a couple of different functionalities that you can use, and we can talk about those a little bit later, but so really it's being able to kind of have that direct connection to the readers, and that's kind of new for publishers and authors. Usually, we are talking about bookstores, and that's definitely the probably most important relationship to have to get your books in the bookstores and bookshops. But if you're looking to kind of have a little bit more control, AuthorU is kind of similar to IngramSpark in that it wants to allow publishers and authors to have more control over even, we kind of look at it as this bridge. So you have your publisher-author compensation, and then now you have an opportunity to have a little bit of control over the retail side of things, which is something that's pretty new.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break here, and those of you know me know that I'm a big believer, and I've actually sold 95% of my books outside of a bookstore. We'll be right back. It's AuthorU, your guide to book publishing.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Want to publish like a pro today? Well, then take a look at IngramSpark, the only publishing platform that offers print and ebook services through a single source. Upload, edit, and manage titles all in one place. Take more control of printing costs with print on demand, and reach even more readers through one of the world's most extensive distribution networks. Built by independent publishers for independent publishers, IngramSpark has everything you need to maximize your book's potential: color printing, ebook distribution, print on demand, global reach, and more. Start publishing with IngramSpark today and see just how far your titles will go tomorrow. That's IngramSpark.com.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
When
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing questions. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so with me today is the director of IngramSpark, Robin Cutler, and the manager of IngramSpark, and Ariel, which you all should know about pronto, because this is the game changer. This is going to be the game changer for dealing with some of the stuff that Amazon is now doing in the preference of third-party sellers for your books. And as Robin pointed out during the break, it's just not the independent, us small dudes out here, dudes and dudettes. It's not just us. They're going after the big guys too. So I guess I like it that they don't discriminate. I guess I could say that's good. But the reality is that you always have to look at other ways that you can sell your book if you're trying to, going off of just strictly your website or in that kind of an online field. Now, I have to say to all of you, you can't sit back and think everyone's going to come find you. You have to market. You have to work. 10% of getting your book done was you wrote the bloody thing and you got it produced. 90% is pushing your product, and that's your book. So what IngramSpark has really created a wonderful portal and platform, and I'm just really killing me that we are not doing a program on the extravaganza on this, because we should be doing a full live demo on it. But with that said, maybe you'll think about it, ladies. But with that said, let's jump into it. So, Kristen, describe what it is, and let's go through some steps.
Okay. So, the process starts on aer.io, so www.aer.io. There is no .com. Just remember that. And it's similar to IngramSpark, is you can sign up and log in from our marketing site, which is the aer.io. You sign up, and then you have access to a dashboard, and it's for free, like no setup costs, no sign-up fees, or anything like that. And right away, you can start building an inventory of books from Ingram's catalog of over 15 million titles. So any title that is in Ingram's wholesale distribution channel is available in Aereo. And you can search a couple of different ways. You can actually put a publisher name in there. You can do an author. You can do ISBNs. And you can start building your inventory right in your dashboard. It's pretty awesome, like visual. I'm trying to think of the word. They're kind of like postcards visual postcards of each book, and you'll see that in your dashboard. And then you can customize each book. It will pull in the metadata that publisher has established for the book. And then you also will have the option to, kind of build a product page around that specific title. So it'll pull in all of the basic metadata that's already set up, and then we allow you to edit your own description where you could either, if you are the author or the publisher, you can add in videos or reviews or things like that you want to show up on that product page. And then there's the purchase buttons for however many different formats that you have. So whether you have your paperback, your hardbook, and your ebook, it's all on that one page with a really nice visual of the cover photo that you have. And this is all for free. So everything I'm talking about right now, you can start doing in like 2 minutes.
So Kristen, you're saying that if you've got your book is loaded, you've got your book.
If you put your book through either any of Ingram's, either through our wholesale channel or IngramSpark, or any of our other lines of businesses, if your book is gone through them,
it's distributed through Ingram.
Right.
If it's distributed through Ingram, it's available.
Yeah, it's already, the print version of it is already available in Aereo. And I want to make sure I clarify that. The print version is available.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah, and then
I like it.
we have some marketing subscription plans that you can also sign up for that give you a little bit more action, and that's also attached to ebooks. So if you have an ebook that you'd like to market, you can upload that. The subscription plans are for $20, it's $25 a month. For 100 titles, it's $100 a month, and then for 250 titles, it's $250 a month. You can also buy annual subscriptions where you get a 2-month discount off from that price. And then for that, the functionalities that you get is you can create a preview of your ebook, so you can choose any of the chapters that you want to have in that preview. You can also do free giveaways of an ebook or in a supplemental ebook. And then you can also do email, like you can capture email addresses through either of those functionalities. So in the preview, you can set up a little email capture, like wherever you want it to be, whether it's after they view the first page or after they view like the third page. You can put a little pop-up that says, hey, would you like to see more? Put in your email address. You can customize the messaging to whatever you want it to be. And then with the ebook giveaways, it's the same thing. They can download it, but they'll give you their email address to be able to download it. And then
basically, what you're saying is, if you do an offer, you offer a perk, an opt-in kind of thing, that you capture their email. What about if they buy a book? Do you capture the email too?
Yep.
Perfect.
So whether that's print
incredibly
or ebook,
hot.
you'll get your email addresses.
No,
And to me, that's one of the distinguishing things. So, if you push your customers to Amazon to purchase your book, you're never going to know who bought it, right? And in this scenario, you're going to know who bought it, and you're going to have that email address that you can, reach out to your direct readers with, with whatever you want to offer, down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. So, and here's the other thing. I mean, I'll wait for you to see if you get into it, because I'm really excited about the whole store idea of offering other books in your inventory.
Yeah. So that's currently, like all that I have talked about is functionality that can happen within the dashboard. There's some other functionalities that we can talk about that happen outside of our portal, our dashboard. But what Judith is talking about is when I said you can search ISBN, author, publisher, that means you can literally search any ISBN, author, publisher that we have in the Ingram wholesale distribution channels. So that could be your books, or that could be anyone else's books that are in there. And you have the ability to sell those as well. So if there's supplemental topics that kind of go hand in hand with your own, or you just want to have more of an inventory for your own bookstore, then you can add them and sell them and make the retailer side profit on those books.
Great. So let me add the twist to this. You can, as an author, and now you've got a storefront, basically. You have a storefront, but you're always going to, certainly, front and center is your stuff. But there's also complementary stuff that can augment what you recommend, or maybe even you have favorite books. This is a favorite read. For example, I insist that everyone I work with get Stephen King's book on writing. I love that book. There are several books I recommend. All right, so when I create my store, that will be front and center. This is a must-have, in my opinion. And since I know it's sitting in Ingram, I can just go over and do the grab, and then it comes into, and then all of a sudden the book cover will show in my store. That the book covers do show of the other books. Is that correct, Kristen?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
It's whatever metadata that publisher has set up that we have pulled in. As Ingram.
So you've got that. So you can create all the complimentary stuff and add comments, make a comment of why you recommend it.
Yeah.
And go through it. And that's a huge benefit to what you do. Because, for me, I've got screenplay books I recommend. I've got a book called Guy Write I recommend for any of my authors who are writing for little boys. How do you use the right fart language, for example? So there's just little things out there that I always recommend. One of the books I recommend, is if you really want to go after celebrities and stuff, there is something called the Black Book of celebrities that I keep a copy in my office. But I will go through, Penny Sanseveri's book on red hot publicity. I've always recommended that for people. So those now I can offer those, and this is actually, it was a form of a variation of the old associate program that Amazon had that really ran into a lot of troubles because of tax-related issues. But this is really much more sophisticated and better, and it is it's integrated and it's cohesive to who and what you are. So I just think that's a huge grand slam home run.
Yeah, a couple of things I should mention is the bookstore that you have throughout our dashboard. We can customize the URL, like the end of it, so it can be whatever you want your bookstore name to be. And like Judith said, you can actually add your own insights onto those product pages. And then one thing I don't know that I made really clear also is that AuthorU takes care of all of the handling of those sales. So when you sell books, you don't have
hold on. Yeah. We'll come back to that. We're going to take our final break. This hour has whizzed by, but hold on, and we'll come right back, and we'll get into how this all works.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207. Or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
One of the most important decisions you will ever make is your choice for printing your book. You are choosing a company which will be responsible for guiding you through the process and printing your book at a level of quality and detail that embraces your personal and creative needs. You want to choose a company that when your book finally arrives, you are delighted and ready to move on to the next level, and one that is customer focused. Choose King Printing Company and eBooks to be that company that brings you to the next level. Go to kingprinting.com or call 978-458-2345 and ask for Tom Campbell.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, I'm always on the search for things that I think are, in some cases, the cat's meow. And for this case, I think we've got the author's meow. And that what will work for you without brain damage. And I know a lot of the tools that get presented out there, you almost need a PhD to figure out what in the devil you've got to do to get it up and running, to implement it, and to follow up. And I like things that once you get it going, you don't have to nourish it all the time. Nourish it in marketing. I think you have to let people know and remind them that it's out there. But I think having this as a new tool and a platform and integrated into your website is really one of the perfect solutions that authors are looking for, because writing a book and publishing can be a very lonely number. And that with all the noise out here, you don't know which way to go. And that's why, number one, I like using Ingram, because they've got the reputation. They've spent decades building it, and they're trusted. So you've got that. And then secondly, they're also looking for ways to expand in product and take on things and then get them debugged. And then off and running. So the Ariel is just really one of these great little tools that you can take and run with and really have some control over, but also add in new goodies for it. So Kristen is the manager of the holding. Kristen Eastman is with us. Robin Cutler, who is the director of IngramSpark, is with us in this last segment also. And so we're really talking to the details of how to make this work for you. So Kristen, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Sure. I was mentioning right before we took a break, just to let everyone know that's listening, we as Area, we handle all of the sales and the customer service for your consumers, and the fulfillment and all that stuff. So you set up your bookstore, and then we take care of all of the rest of the stuff. So you won't be getting, consumer emails being like asking about anything. We'll handle all of that stuff. A couple of things that I think should mention is everything we've talked about, I think, prior to now is really just using our portal and the dashboard that we've set up. So, and you can do that. Like I said, the bookstore that we offer has our our domain name, so the aer.io, but then you can customize the .com/ to whatever your bookstore name is.
Ooh, that's very cool. That's very cool.
And then a couple of things that you can do if you have already established a really good website and author platform is we have widgets, and you can customize these widgets. And by widget, I mean a picture of your book cover, some social sharing buttons, and then either a learn more or a buy now button. You can customize what you want that call to action to be on that widget. And those widgets are easily embedded into any, well, we work best with WordPress, I will say that. But if you have any sort of, or have someone that has any sort of, a little bit of, code experience, you can pretty much insert those widgets anywhere that you would want on your website. So you can kind of create your own, book pages. So if you wanted to offer, your whole catalog of books on a page, these are cute little widgets you can add on your website, like a description next to them. But when they click through on those buttons, the share buttons, we automatically populate that cover and the metadata description into that post, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest.
Well, that sounds terrific to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. And although I'm a ding-dong when it comes to code, I know nothing about that, nor do I want to learn about it. But there are ways to get around it. Yes, those are called virtual assistants. So with that said, Robin, I want to come back to you because there are some changes at IngramSpark. Number one, you've done some price changes. So I'd love to have you talk about that. I'd love to get you talking about some of the pre-order capabilities. And I think it'd be very cool to talk about some of the other global things. You've mentioned Australia, you mentioned Europe, but you've also got a China connection, if I heard right. All right. So I need to have you kiss on that.
Yeah, we're just about to turn on what we call Global Connect, which is printers in other countries that provide the same sort of print-on-demand capabilities that we offer, and that we that has been approved by us in terms of their quality. So we have a partner in China that we're about to make available. So in IngramSpark, you have a choice to make your books available to all of our Global Connect partners. And this Chinese partner, I think, is going to be really significant. One that we turned on last year was in India, and we're selling a lot of books in India with that Global Connect partner, so we're excited about that. You mentioned...
let me ask you this, Robin. Do you have any connections for any of the conversion? I had a lot of sales with China years ago for some of my books, but, they were bought by Chinese publishers and converted over.
Yeah, so what happens is, it's your book, the same book that you have available in the IngramSpark system. So probably it's your English, version. This isn't a translation service or anything like that. This just makes your book available to a Chinese print-on-demand partner that also is a distributor within that market. So this is somebody that has connections with Chinese booksellers and libraries. So your book, if you turn on Global Connect, your book now will be available to that Chinese local printer and distributor in that market. And we found that that's the best route into, especially a market like China, is to actually have, a relationship with a provider right there in that market.
Well, I think that's exciting. And I have no idea what percentage of the Chinese population reads English, but I bet it's a lot.
Yeah, and the way this works is your book is set up with U.S. price. The Chinese partner then has access to all of those books that are made available through Global Connect, and then they convert your price to their local currency, and then when we pay you, we convert it back to U.S. So it's just a way to really kind of easily expand your content globally.
Mm-hmm.
So you
that's
mentioned print prices. You mentioned print price changes, so I just wanted to briefly kind of hit on that for a second. So, yes, we did recently, I think it was the beginning of June, increase or change some of our prices. And what we actually ended up doing was offering better prices for a lot of our content and for our customers, so that especially if you have a black and white interior, most of the pricing actually was to your benefit. And so we were really happy to do that. I think 80% of all of our books kind of fell under that scenario, which better pricing is always better, right? Mm-hmm. And then last year, you mentioned pre-order. We actually turned on pre-order capabilities so that you can, when you set up your book, you have the ability to set an on-sale date into the future. So when your book goes live in the system and you have an on-sale date, whether it's 1, 3, even 6 months out, we can collect orders from our retail customers, in that interim period. So when your book finally hits that on-sale date, we actually print the books about 10 days prior to that date, so that then they're distributed out into the market, and we fulfill those orders. Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
And one last thing that I want to mention, because we've had a lot of people request this, and I can't give you an exact date. I just know that you'll start seeing this as an option in IngramSpark. I would say within the next month or so, is the ability on a color book, especially a children's color book, to upload a landscape version instead of it being tall.
Oh, is that exciting? That makes the happy dance. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so all right, we have 1 minute to wrap up here, and it's gone way too fast. So we need to come back and really have another show talking about all the different print options that are going on with that. But I did a quick look up. Yeah, I just did a quick look up for China. New. Yep, China. 25 million adults read English in China easily. So,
see there,
huge market. So
and how about India? India is an English market all on its own, right?
Oh, yeah. I've published multiple times in English, and they're always in English when they do it. They just take my PDFs and redo it. It's crazy. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, IngramSpark and Ariel. And we'll, a huge endorsement stamp of approval. Go here and have a great, great week, you two. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Judith.
All right. It's AuthorU, your guide to book publishing. Happy writing, happy publishing. Dang, that went so fast, I couldn't.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,